So, a big storm just rolled through. It can be pretty overwhelming, especially when you're looking up at your roof and thinking, uh-oh. Filing an insurance claim, it feels like this huge, complicated, stressful thing. But you know what? It doesn't have to be. In this explainer, we're going to walk you through it step by step so you can handle the whole process feeling confident and totally in control. All right, so the storm's over. The wind's died down, the rain has stopped. You step outside, look up, and you just know your roof took a beating. What's your very first instinct? Who do you pick up the phone and call? Seriously, your answer to this one question is probably the most critical decision you're going to make in this entire journey.
So let's dive right into that first crucial step. Because the choice you make in just the first few hours after a storm can either set you up for a really smooth process or a massive headache down the line.
Now, this is going to sound totally backward to a lot of people, but the biggest mistake you can make is calling your insurance company first. The right move, the one that sets you up for success, is to call a qualified, professional roofer to come do an inspection. Why? Because they can tell you if you even have enough real damage to file a claim in the first place. And that protects you from a really nasty trap. And that trap? It's called a zero-pay claim. Here's what happens. You file a claim, the adjuster comes out, and they decide the damage isn't bad enough to meet their threshold, or maybe it's less than your deductible, so you get $0. But that claim is now permanently stamped on your policy record. And yeah, that can jack up your rates or even make it harder to get insured later. A roofer's free inspection helps you dodge that bullet entirely. This right here, this is how you spot a real pro. They don't use high-pressure sales tactics. They're all about building trust. Listen for calm, low-pressure questions like this one. It's a little technique called a negative agreement, and it just makes it super easy and comfortable for you to say yes. It's a huge sign that they're there to actually help, not just to make a quick sale. Okay, so you've found a pro you trust, and you've given them the green light. What does a real, legit, thorough inspection actually look like? Well, I'll tell you what it's not. It's not a quick peek from the top of a ladder. It is a systematic, detailed process designed to find every single problem and document it the right way. And this quote from Matt Dankin at the Building Experts Institute just nails the mindset. After a big storm, you get some contractors who are just in a mad dash, trying to see as many homes as possible, and they end up doing a lousy job at every single one. A true professional? They slow way down. They know that doing one fantastic, detailed inspection builds incredible trust and is way more valuable than rushing through 15 bad ones. It's all about quality over quantity.
You see, a professional inspection isn't just random. It follows a system, a 4-point process. After some initial safety checks, they'll walk the property to see what they can from the ground. Then they'll get up on the roof for that detailed, hands-on look. But that final step, that's often the most revealing one of all. They go up into your attic.
Up on the roof itself, they're like detectives on the hunt for clues. They're not just looking for a giant hole, they're looking for the subtle stuff, the soft, spongy spots from hail bruising, or the tiny creases and tears in a shingle from high winds. And every single spot where something pokes through the roof, a pipe, a vent, a skylight, gets a close look for tiny cracks or seals that are starting to fail. But the attic, yeah, the attic is where the real story gets told. From the inside, an inspector can spot things that are totally invisible from the outside, like faint water stains on the underside of the roof deck. They'll even look for rusty nail heads, pros call them shiners, and they'll check to make sure your ventilation is actually working, which is just critical for the health of the entire roof system.
And this quote, wow, it really drives home the insane level of detail we're talking about. It's kind of hard to believe, but a single tiny nail that isn't sealed up perfectly can cause an entire roof to fail over time. That is the kind of microscopic detail a real professional is looking for.
Okay, deep breath. Your roofer confirms you have significant damage and says you should file a claim. The adjuster comes out, and pretty soon, a big packet of paperwork arrives. This is the part where most homeowners' eyes just glaze over from all the jargon. But don't worry, we're going to make this super simple.
First thing you're going to see is RCV, which stands for Replacement Cost Value. Here's the easy way to think about it. This is the big number. This is the full, all-in sticker price to tear off your old roof and put on a brand new one using similar materials at today's prices.
Next up, you'll see ACV, or Actual Cash Value. This number represents what your damaged roof was worth the moment before the storm hit. The insurance company figures this out by taking that big RCV number and then subtracting an amount for how old and worn out your roof was. That amount is called depreciation.
So what exactly is depreciation? Honestly, the best way to think about it is like a security deposit. It's the money the insurance company holds back until the job is actually finished. They do this just to make sure you use the insurance money to, actually replace the roof. Once you show them proof the work is complete, they release that money and send it to you.
So, how does all this math turn into that first check you get from the insurance company? It's actually pretty straightforward. They take the total replacement cost value, they subtract that depreciation security deposit that they're holding on to, and then they subtract your personal deductible. Whatever's left over, that's the amount of your initial payment.
Let's put some real numbers to this to make it crystal clear. Let's say your new roof has a replacement cost value, an RCV, of $20,000. The insurance company decides your old roof had $5,000 in depreciation, and let's say your deductible is $2,000. Okay, here's the math. They take the 20 grand RCV, subtract the 5 grand in depreciation, and then subtract your 2 grand deductible. Your first check will be for $13,000.
All right, you've got that first check, you've picked out a great contractor, so now what? Let's walk through the final, and frankly, the most rewarding part of this whole thing, getting your brand new roof installed and closing out the claim for good.
This timeline shows you the home stretch. It's pretty simple. You'll sign a contract with your roofer for that full replacement cost, the whole 20 grand in our example. Once they finish all the work, they send a final invoice to the insurance company. That invoice is the trigger. It tells the insurer to release the depreciation money, that $5,000, and send you the final check. So after all is said and done, after all the checks and all the math, what is your total cost? What do you actually have to pay out of your own pocket? With a standard replacement cost value policy, your total financial responsibility should come down to just one single number, your deductible. That's it. The insurance is designed to cover the rest.
Ultimately, getting through a storm damage claim is all about having the right knowledge and, just as important, the right partner. Your roof is this complex, critical system that protects your single most valuable asset, your home. So the real question to ask yourself is, are you confident you have the right guide to help you navigate